Alright guys, so yeah, Global is getting the red Zeta or Zeta the Red. Yeah, this actually is a pretty cool unit. I think this is actually a first instance, I want to say, where we are getting a unit that is specifically stronger to a type advantage color, while it's actually a little bit worse when you're facing type disadvantage. But overall, this unit can get up to 144% evasion when your full squad is actually red element, depending on that. So that's actually pretty strong. With that being said, and for skill 1, you are obviously getting up to a 99% damage up versus a green enemy, so that's pretty nice. And then if you're talking about blue enemy, you're actually getting a reduction to shooting damage and accuracy as well. So you're not really going to be doing much against a blue enemy, a blue color enemy. So I think given how the meta is for global right now, you will at least run into one or two blue units. So with that being said, I feel like it's not really good for this unit in general. So this may or may not be a unit that's going to be exceptionally well in just general content, or given a content where is the enemy color is green, then this unit is going to excel very nice. And on top of that, EXQ damage reduction by 15% up to 90%, depending on the amount of red allies in your team, red element allies on your team. That is really strong. Given that, I feel like for enemy or for arena specifically, you can always run, let's say, Penelope. That's one red element unit. And you can always run, isn't that the engaged income to boost the armor unit HP or whatever? That can be another instance of a red element unit. And as far as like another one that you should run, I don't think there's a lot. Yeah, I mean, global right now don't really have a lot of strong candidate for a good red element unit. So to take advantage of that EXQ reduction, it will be really hard. But if you can fulfill that, you are getting up to a 90%. All right, so that is really powerful because, like I said again, for global environment right now, a lot of the damage is actually coming from EX skill damage. So if you can nerf your enemy from doing EX skill in general, like, you're pretty much safe from Penelope just going crazy, because that unit is already quote unquote doing like the enemy is doing zero damage to you. And if you have EXQ nullification, like, you're kind of going all out. So that is pretty insane. But as far as what we are gonna do in this video, I don't like, it's really hard for me to use it in like a mock battle situation, because like it's really hard to just put everyone being a green element unit. And being green right now, I mean, there's actually a lot of green units out there, believe it or not. We do have the new Gundam, we have the Banshee Norn, we do have the also, we do have like a good amount of green unit, but at the same time, there is a good amount of blue element unit, being GPO2, Xeon. Like, those are a hard counter to Zeta already. So I don't really feel comfortable in just using it in arena specifically, because it's not going to work too well. So I think what we're just gonna do, we're just gonna limit the testing to only like co-op, for example. And I'm gonna see if I can find some content that are green element color specific. Then we can potentially have this unit be of a good use. But other than that, we do have a full red element team with the following, so it should be pretty good. And I am actually bringing the Kuberly Mark II, so this is going to be a Giga support for sure. And the fact that global don't really have access to this unit is kind of like, it's probably not the best showcasing, because I am going to hyper inflate the amount of damage that we are doing with the red Zeta because of this unit. But it just kind of gives you guys a glimpse of what this unit potentially can do. So I'm just gonna run a co-op where it's gonna be type neutral, where it's not gonna be green or blue, whatever. And then we'll do that, and then you guys can definitely see the amount of damage that we will be doing with type advantage, type neutral, and then type disadvantage, so you guys can get a good scope of what this unit is capable of. Alright, so starting out with type neutral, we have the F91 right there. So I'm just gonna situate the squad as well, and we should be good. All right. So since this is the first time we are taking a look at the Red Zeta, I am actually gonna show off the EXQ animation. So let's have that. And there's also something I do want to mention about the Red Zeta, is the third weapon is actually a projectile. So as far as building around Red Zeta for the module purpose of things, I think it's going to be pretty bad because there's not, for global wise, there's not an equipment where you can actually build having both beam and projectile. So as far as the damage outcome wise, it's going to be pretty bad regardless. So that is definitely something to I guess take note of and whatnot. But yeah, let's. All right, we got the what is it? The Mark II in the flying armor. So this is potentially a unit that we should be getting relatively soon, I feel like. And yeah, this is actually not a bad unit. It's pretty powerful, I would say. All right. Yeah, EXQ charging the EXQ for this Red Zeta is actually pretty slow compared to some of the other unit that we have in here. Yeah. Alright. Got the debuffing going on now with GPO4, so that's good. Alright, let's see. Alright, so I think Red Zeta should be coming up. No. Wow, yeah, that's actually really slow. So you can skip that. And Red Zeta, any moment now. Oh, there you go. Alright, so let's see the. Ooh. Whoa. The animation though is pretty fire though, that's for sure. It's actually pretty good looking for standard units. That is actually pretty exceptional. Okay, they did not sleep on an animation, that's for sure. And how is Red Zeta doing so far? Not that great. That's all I can tell you. It's not really good. Damage is actually worse than what is it? Concede, and it's even worse than GPO4. What? That is insane. Can't believe that. Yeah, this unit sucks. Yeah, you guys can see the third weapon is actually pretty bad because like is the equipment that I'm using is actually specifically to beam. So projectile damage wise is actually just non-existent. So yeah. Alright, this next one is going to be type disadvantage. And yes, type disadvantage in terms of Red Zeta is pretty much going to be doing less damage and we have less accuracy. So let's see how bad we can actually do in this one. And I'm just going to do it 3 times speed. So let's kind of see what's going on. Whew. Yeah, damage is actually looking really bad. It's actually pretty clear to see that if you are running this unit against a blue element unit, please don't, because the damage wise is so pathetic. Like, look at that. Yikes, it's actually half than what most unit is already doing. And even, what is it, the Mark II is still doing pretty good. Look at that. The damage is still on par with what we were doing against F91 being type advantage or type neutral. So yeah, I will definitely advise people not to use this unit against the blue element unit because the damage wise it significantly drops off. So the next one we're gonna do is type advantage, and then finally we can take advantage of the 99% damage up. Alright, so this is type advantage against the Fargate with the Gundam head. So right out the bat, we should see a better damage performance because we are getting up to a 99% damage up. So let's see where we are at. Yes, definitely pretty noticeable. We are already up next to Mark II. So yeah, I mean like that damage improvement is definitely pretty evident and we're already done. Take a look at that, yeah. So if you're talking about any content that is green moving forward, I think this is definitely going to be a unit that you guys should run for sure. And the fact that this unit does have some EXQ damage mitigation, and then you're also having like an absolute, you're not having absolute evasion, but you can get up to 144% evasion. That is actually pretty good for the survivability aspect of things. So I do want to take a look at this. Yeah, so the damage is actually really good in this one. So yeah, I'm gonna try to see if I can find a content or any events out there that are actually green element specific, and we can see how this unit can do. Alright, so in terms of content that are green, I am looking at the Master Rush Battle. So this one is actually against a green element unit, so I guess we can take advantage of this one. So I can actually use only 3 units, and then we can kind of see, you know what, I'm just going to use 6 units for the time being, because I guess I want to take advantage of the full board having a red element unit, so that's what we will do. But the only thing that we won't probably be able to test out is actually this one, because most of the time enemies does not really do EX skill damage on like general content. The only exception is arena, where the enemy does actually do EX skill damage. So the only other thing we can really look out for is actually the evasion aspect of things, but I feel like it will be pretty rare for double Zeta to actually hit specifically red Zeta, so even this is going to be pretty rare case to take advantage of. But other than that, the only thing that we can try, I mean, is just only this. Just doing extra damage and then having higher accuracy, and that is pretty much it. Modules wise, I actually did change to this one where the projectile damage can get some damage up as well. I pretty much switched from this one that we have on JP. I switched over from this one where beam damage upon activating EX skill turn 20% up, and then 100k damage cap up, and 14% beam damage. So I know the value, it is going to be a little bit less, but the fact that the projectile damage can take advantage of that, I wouldn't mind that. So let's see what's going on. I don't actually remember if this co-op was any, or sorry, not co-op, this battle rush, or is it hard or whatnot, but we will find out, I guess. Let's see. So this one is actually not a armor unit, it is actually just a bombardment unit. Okay, so let's just kind of see. Alright, damage should be pretty good, I suppose, right? Let's see. Okay, there it is. I mean, still pretty low on the damage board, but it's definitely better than what we were doing against the red element or the blue element, so it's definitely not that terrible, I guess, in a way. But I guess for a final verdict, if you guys are like still wondering to summon or not, if you guys do value on an off chance where if you do face up against a blue or a green element unit, I guess you pull this unit out and it's definitely going to do a lot of good damage. And especially if we are talking about, you know, for clan battle, whenever we are facing off against a green element unit, I guess in that case it is going to be good. But keep that in mind, we do rotate in between, like how many elements we have? We have 5 different elements. So the fact that to hit a green element enemy on a given situation, it is going to be fairly rare. And most of the time, you don't even need the type, like the type advantage unit to take down any specific enemy or content. So, given the fact that most of the time this unit is not doing any exceptional damage to any of the elements, I would probably suggest you guys to just skip this unit as a whole, because it's not really worth your damage to summon for a unit that works only 1/5 of the time. So yeah, but overall the animation wise, I think is the most spectacular fact for this unit. I mean, the animation looks pretty good. It even rivals some of the more recently released units, so that was definitely quite surprised to me. But as always, I would just say skip the unit because it's definitely not worth it. But other than that, that's gonna be it for me, and I will be catching you guys up on the next one.